So I'd like to make a quick video talking about something I don't hear people talking about a lot. And it has to do with quick checks, quick diagnosis, say if you're going to buy a used car or something. It's really helpful information to know. So in front of me I got a dipstick and an oil cap. And I'm going to tell you just some things that the dipstick will tell you that will just give you some good information to read when you're buying a used car or anything like that, or even if you're diagnosing a customer car that comes in. So I will say that most of the things I mention only work for these types of dipsticks that are like the little steel strand, but some of it does apply to pretty much any other dipstick. So the first thing I want to cover is the thing that I hear people talk about most when they're looking at a dipstick and checking for oil is they're looking for this. They're looking for, and hopefully you can see it, the mix of oil and coolant. It's kind of like the chocolate milk on the dipstick, or in the oil cap in this case. Now this is not a blown head oil cap. This oil cap came from a car that was sitting for a long time. Moisture builds up, and when you crank it, it's going to build up condensation, and you'll have the same effect, but it's not a blown head. Same thing though, you'll get the same look. If you see this on your dipstick, the chocolate milk on the mixing on your dipstick, it pretty much means that you most likely blew a head, obviously if you're running your car every day. If your car's sitting for 8 months at a time and you crank it up and then you check your oil after taking it to the front of your yard, it may just be condensation. Drain your oil, check it again, put some new oil in it and check it again. Now, moving on to the other stuff that people don't really tell you about. So first off, let me see, this section right here, it's really clean. It's, completely silver. There's nothing on it. That's what a normal one of these dipsticks will look like. Moving down a little bit, you'll see it's starting to get a little bit of brown to it. That can just mean that they're a little bit late on the oil changes, or the engine has some miles on it. Nothing to really worry about. Now if we move down to the tip, you can see here that there's obvious signs of burn and buildup. This would mean that they are really not changing their oil and they are really far behind on their services. You want to watch out for this. There's going to be apparent sludge in the engine if there's sludge buildup on the dipstick. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what if you go to some shady shyster's house and they're selling some awesome deal car and it's kind of too good to be true. Well, suppose that car had a blown head and they had the milkshake in the oil just like this. But what if they changed the oil before you showed up? How would you really tell? And some people will say, oh, well, just run the car long enough to heat up. Depending on how bad the head is cracked, I have seen heads with very minimal fractures that fail to test. However, they didn't overheat for hours at a time. So just a quick thing to look for would be this. And I don't know if you can see this all too well. Maybe on the other side. There's kind of like the rainbow neochrome-ish color on the dipstick. If you see that, what that means is that the engine was running at an insanely high temperature for an extended period of time, long enough to discolor this metal piece. And that's pretty much a sign that either the head's going to blow, is blown, or had been blown. Or just in general that the engine was running insanely hot for a long period of time. So just something to keep an eye out for. Now, another thing to keep an eye out for is if you look up the dipstick and you see like scratching and marring on it as if somebody was trying to sand it down. If somebody knows this trick and they were trying to pull one over on you, if you can see sanding marks and the dipstick isn't all too shiny, like if there's scratches in it, be aware. So that's kind of just a quick little thing, 5-minute video on some stuff to look out for and some really easy diagnosis that will tell you the history of a car just by pulling the dipstick. So hope this helps some people out and hopes this gives you a little something to use. Maybe next time you go look at a used car on a lot or something, you'll take the dipstick and just take a second look at it instead of just looking at how full the oil is. And of course, check the color of the oil and the condition as well. I don't really have anything in the shop right now that has really caked up oil or anything to show you, but obviously, you know, clean oil is clean oil. It'll look very crystalline and clear. If it's black and thick, then you're gonna probably be wondering why they haven't been changing their oil. So, hope this helps. Give a quick little like and share some of this information. Maybe it'll help some other people out. And thanks a lot. See you guys later.